YouTube. There's a live chat. We have a couple people
Okay.
that'll come hang out.
Cool, man.
And then I'll warn you, and then I'll actually start recording what the audio will be that'll get released in a couple days.
Cool. Just do your thing, man. Yeah, easy.
Yeah, the downside is that we always have like really good conversations before I actually start recording.
Yeah. Yeah. Now that sensory deprivation tank is ruined it for the next.
Well, we could rehab the conversation if you'd like, because it was just the three of us. I want to make sure that we talk about everything that you're up to. That's a little more important
No, I
than
appreciate that.
me laying butt naked in a tank for an hour.
Besides a drunk tank, because that seems obvious.
I've never done that. I have yet, just knocking on wood, I've never landed myself in the drunk tank.
Wait, what's a drunk tank? Am I missing out on something?
If you get pulled over for drinking and driving in the U.S., they like if you. I don't think there's any exceptions. I don't know. So if someone listening or watching knows better, please tell me. But they throw you in what they call the drunk tank to sober up overnight, and you can't leave until the morning.
Okay, like jail.
It's like jail, except it's not that you're actually necessarily charged with a crime.
I think the correct term is a holding tank.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you're just kind of there until the morning, and then you can go.
It's for your own protection and the protection of others, but it's not necessarily and you're going to be charged in the morning when you're sober enough to deal with it. They can do that, but it's essentially it's a for your own good jail.
Yeah.
Yeah. The hot news here is they're trying to change the legal drinking limit to 0.5 instead of 0.1. Excuse me, 0.05 instead of 0.1.
That's not good.
No, and I've told my wife, I'm like, I want to get a breathalyzer because I want to know like how drunk I legally am compared to how I feel.
I think like you're not really drunk at the limit anyway.
No,
nowhere near it.
No, and it's supposed to be. It's like the warning label on food that's going to expire. We'll give you a leeway of a couple of days. Your eggs are going to go bad on the 27th, but actually they're going bad on the 31st. But because you're a moron, on the 31st you will be trying to eat those eggs, and then on the 2nd of next month you'll be trying to eat those eggs. And it's like, you asshole! No, we're telling you the 27th. It's like my wife telling me that we're supposed to be somewhere at 5 when we're actually supposed to be there next week Tuesday.
But in England, I don't even think it's a pint now. It's so low how much you can drink now. I'm not saying that you should. It doesn't make you a better driver, but
right.
I think, it's pretty low now.
The question is does that all become moot anyways when we go to self-driving vehicles?
Oh, see, that's some scary shit, a self-driving vehicle, though.
It sounds scary, but it sounds less scary than a bunch of drunks out on the road.
Yeah, true. I don't know though. I think didn't they do a test drive it and it was just wasn't really that good, was it?
Well, they're doing a lot of tests out here, and most of the tests still have someone in the car who can drive. But it's so far it's pretty good. You compare it to there's not as many vehicles, of course, that are self-driving, but you compare it to how many accidents are had by people who are supposedly conscientious drivers. And a lot of that isn't even they're drunk or stoned or anything. It's just human error. And the self-driving vehicles are supposed to eliminate a lot of that human error. But the question becomes, what decision is the right decision? Because someone has to program that in. If you're in a car and you're driving, if it's being driven and it says, oh, well, there's a truck coming at us. If I go left, I'm going to hit these two pedestrians. If I go right, I'm going to cause these two cars to the right of us to get into an accident and maybe kill somebody there. So the best case scenario is to just take the truck hit, and the one person in this car dies, which is me, versus the other people who could die. And it's like, but what if I don't really like that scenario?
Yeah, no, I don't like that one.
But it sucks. I also don't want to be the cause of other people dying. So if they give you a vote when you get in.
Is it your cause if you're not driving? Right.
Yeah, and that's sort of the thing is, and all of the vehicles have to kind of follow the same rules. So there has to be a unified programming for everything. Which how long until that gets hacked?
Well, that's the problem. It's fuck. Scary.
But you're going to see it's going to be the same thing as the battery powered cars and the non like using vegetable oil instead of like crude oil is that it's going to be a lot of fighting against it until it becomes the mainstream. And then everybody's going to go, why did we fight this for so long?
Yeah, no, definitely.
You're going to start recording? I know Russell is very hungover, so I don't want to keep him up.
I'm good. A little bit hungover.
You don't have to lie to me now that Corey's here. I know how hungover you are.
Yeah,
that's the real reason your camera's off is because you're hungover.
Completely.
Do you prefer to go by Russell?
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure. Cool.
Whatever, man. I'm easy. I'm like.
Well,
yeah. Russell
could call you fuckstick, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, no, that one. Stick with Russell.
Yeah. Well, some people have, professionally they want to be called one thing, personally they want to be called another. I just like to make sure.
Matt didn't know my real name for the first year and a half of us working together.
That's true.
That's amazing. How did that work?
What's that?
What did you call each other?
Well, he called me Corey.
That's just not his legal name, which I didn't know.
My name.
Oh, why is it? What's your legal name?
Donald. But no one's called me Donald my entire life.
Okay, nice.
See, like, how the fuck was I supposed to know?
Yep.
Corey's living a goddamn second life over there.
Donald's come back though, isn't it?
Oh, I guess so. But it's not even the Donald thing. It's just it's a whole different name. Like I don't use my middle or my last name normally. Like for legal documents. But I had a nickname growing up, and then I started going by Corey when I was 16. So it's just been always this. And my dad is the only person who would ever think to call me by that name because it's his name, but he never has. And still, my stepmother's always like, "Why do you care?"
Amazing.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna start recording this.
Cool, man.
If I click the right thing, I don't know. It just opened. Welcome to episode 115 of the Podcast of Terror production of the Galactic Network. I'm your host, Matt Stein. With me, as always, is that lying sack of shit, Corey, whose real name is Donald.
It's true.
Hi, Corey.
I had a lot of options. It didn't even have to be Corey. It could have landed somewhere else. I had a few other ones in the queue before I landed with this. This was fully the fault of Corey Haim and Corey Feldman.
Oh, God, here we go again. Our guest this week is the star of the film we're going to be talking about a little later, Who's Watching Oliver. He found out a bunch of other crazy shit about this guy, too. He doesn't turn his camera on because he's hungover. He's currently in Bangkok, correct?
Yeah, I'm in Bangkok.
So it is 9 a.m. Monday morning as of recording this, which...
Yes. What time is it there?
It's 8 p.m. Sunday night for me.
I'm in the future, man.
Yeah, you are. So can you tell me what to invest my money in?
Fuck. I wish do you know what? Everybody... No, do you know what? I've got all these friends now who have been like, told you, motherfucker, because they all done this, the Bitcoin stuff.
Yep. I was trying to explain to my wife earlier about that because I started investing in altcoins. And I think I'm up like $10 in 2 days.
That's good.
Which it's not good for your heart because it fucking goes up and down so goddamn fast. And
what are you gonna do with that $10? You're gonna sit there, you're gonna say, "Oh, I'm up $10. I'm just gonna buy more beer." And then the $10 is gonna disappear, and it's not like you're gonna be able to get it back from the beer.
Unfortunately, the reality is to get your money out is
pain in the ass.
Fucking impossible. Like even to get your money in there is impossible. So
that's the whole thing with Bitcoin is when I see people and they've done amazingly well, and I don't know, like it's gone up to this crazy amount. I start to think, fuck, man. And then I do the maths and like, Jesus, if I just put in like £1,000 or 500 or £100, and then I start to realize I never have left it in.
Right.
What would have happened is 2 weeks later, it went up a bit, and I just pull it out and go, amazing, I won. And then I'd be moaning for the rest of my life going, fuck, why didn't I just leave it in that a bit longer?
50 Cent recently, I can't remember how much he initially bought, but it was like $500 in Bitcoin, and now it's worth $5 million.
He got paid for one of his albums online. People had the option to use Bitcoin to buy it. And so he just like suddenly went, hey, don't I have some Bitcoin somewhere? And wound up with about $7 million at the time of finding it. But
God, I hate it when rich people get more money. Jeez.
But that's just it. He's at a point where he's rich enough that he doesn't give a shit, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I found $7 million underneath the couch cushions.
That's like not a happy story, that one.
Yeah. And then there's the other guy who cashed out of Facebook way early. Like I think he designed some stuff and cashed out super early and like lost probably $1 billion in doing that. There's other people who cashed out of their Bitcoin. There's people who have Bitcoin sitting on hard drives that they can't remember the passwords for.
Yep, that's amazing.
They can access it. It's all arbitrary until you get the money. It's like winning the lottery and you've got that ticket in your hand and like, oh, I just won $62 million. That's great. And then you go to the store to cash it in and you have a heart attack on the way.
Yeah. So is it hard to take it out then?
Yes. So what I got Bitcoin from mining Bitcoin using my computer. So I have put none of my actual money into it. But you have to, so you mine to this one website and then you have to take the Bitcoin from website number 1 and move it to number 2. And then you go from number 2 to number 3, and number 3 is where you can buy your coins.
Nice.
Now, when you buy these altcoins, when you want to get them out, you then have to go back to website 2, turn it back into Bitcoin, and then cash out of your Bitcoin wallet to actual, whatever currency you want to get it in. So my plan was always to put like $100 in, something that is supposed to blow up, and just hope for the best.
And because you're not making an actual money investment, it's okay. But it's the people who are now pronouncing it, oh, you've got to throw money into Bitcoin like it's gold or something, and it all seems very much unnatural to me. It's a precious commodity that is only precious because some people are saying that it is. And I worked in comics retail for a long time, so I understand the collectible market. I understand fucking Wizard magazine being out there and saying, oh, your Spawn number 1 is worth $160 this week. And then you go and try to sell your Spawn number 1 and everybody fucking has Spawn already and they don't give a shit. So it's like, it's worth $160 to Wizard, but it's not like Wizard's cutting you that check. It's garbage until someone actually gives you the money and you walk away with it and no one shoots you in the back for it.
Yeah.
Yep. And the worst part is, I think it's when you go from website number 2 to number 3, it takes hours. So when you put that transaction in, your money is fucking gone, and you just hope that it shows up where it's supposed to. And that's a couple of my coworkers are also very big into this. One guy's like, he's made over $1,000. Just he invested like $400 or $500, and he was up to like $2,000 at one point.
Yeah, I know people who post on Facebook about it, and I presume they've made a lot because they fucking post about it all the time. So they must be. I don't know. Yeah, that's
I knew people who were Beanie Baby rich.
Beanie Baby.
For a while there, that was the new economy.
I think I still have some.
I remember back in the day. Do you know I used to work in the markets, like a market seller back in the day when I was, a long time ago. So I remember they used to sell Beanie Babies and shit like that as well.
Yep. I have, I may have thrown it out now, but I have a box of Pogs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I know Russell's only a couple years older than me, so he should hopefully knows what that is.
Yeah.
Corey, on the other hand, probably.
I worked comics retail, so I was there for the Pogs uprising, and then having the giant vat of Pogs that we were just basically trying to give away.
Do you have like the coolest Slimers because you were the entry man?
No, we had them, but I bought one. It was a 3D reflective dragon or something on a brass slammer because I thought it was neat, but I've never actually. I couldn't tell you what the fuck Pogs are to play. I assume it's something like Tiddlywinks, which itself is just like exactly what the fuck is Tiddlywinks.
Right.
It's a word, but it's like Magic cards. I had some Magic cards. I probably have some valued cards in a deck somewhere. just because they were from the first sets. But I don't know anything about it to be able to say. And I just remember the shit coming in and going out, and me going, "Thank God we sold this shit, because now we've got room to sell the next hot thing."
How long was you in doing like comics and stuff like that?
I've read comics my entire life. I worked. I managed a store out of Michigan for about 2 years. Came to California, wound up working at another comic store as soon as I got here for about a year, and then just before I started at my current job, while I was unemployed from the previous one, I helped out at my friend's comic store for a while. So I've probably spent about 4 years or so in comics retail at different points.
Nice.
So enough about us. Let's talk about you, Russell. I don't even think I said your name. It's Russell Banks.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, so with film, that's the one thing with film. If anybody ever wants to find me, it's always Russell Jeffrey Banks, because there's an author called Russell Banks. So that's why I have to stick in the middle name.
I think I did come across that in my internet stalking of you leading up to this.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no, that's completely the reason. It's just because there's somebody else who's doing amazingly well with the same name.
Hey, man, your time's coming.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
There are two actresses right now named Peyton List, and it's already such a weird, obscure name, but to have two actresses that are basically getting into the zeitgeist of people know who they are, and they're doing genre shows and stuff like that at the same time. And so, Peyton List has joined this new show, and it's like, which one? You know,
I bet they're in competition with each other just because of the name now.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Probably.
Every time that other Peyton's brought up.
That's the other Peyton. That's not me.
Yeah.
What I want to talk about everything you've done. You have a pretty
cool, man.
I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. The fact, the biggest things that's like surprised me, because you reached out to us, which is fucking awesome. I'm really happy.
No, I appreciate you guys having me on.
But you were a stand-in in Street Fighter 2.
Yeah, that was yeah. Do you know what? I did stand in 4 or 5 films. Yeah. And I learned so much. It was amazing. Everybody was super nice to me. Loads of actors were fucking just really nice. Street Fighter 2. Used to have terrible stage fright back in the day. And on Street Fighter 2, I remember Michael Clark Duncan been an absolute sweetheart and really being super nice to me, and could see that's the whole thing. Like I know in film it has a bad rep for people being arseholes and that, but it's surprising how many people are super nice to you. And that's the whole thing with the stand-in, that everybody, they know that you're just some kid trying to learn. And 9 times out of 10, people give you a tip or tell you some advice. I tell you another guy was James Vanderbeek. He's a super nice guy, funny. Like, he sent me emails after with acting tips for like 6 months later or something. He was super nice. Everybody, with the stand-in. And plus but Street Fighter 2, I was a massive Street Fighter fan growing up, as everybody was. So yeah, that was nice. Nice to be on that.
Yeah, Matt and I have had really good fortune meeting a lot of incredibly cool people, either from the fandom news industry with horror films, some people who make independent films, other podcasters and stuff. And exactly what you said is, you think, because so many people will always talk about the bad situations first and foremost, you think, oh, well, it's likely we're going to run into assholes here and there and everything. But no, I think that it's incredibly supportive. And I expect that that's the same way in Hollywood, is that you feel like these are people who are all trying to make art. They're trying to create something, and they're better when they get along with the people that they work with. And if you do good work, then it makes their work better, even if they are higher up for you, even if they are the name on the marquee and you're not. You don't want to walk into a shitty situation or make a situation shitty when it doesn't have to be. So it doesn't surprise me, but it's still always awesome to hear that.
No, yeah, definitely. And same like Bradley Cooper. I did the stand-in for him on Hangover 2. Super nice guy. And you know, a lot of these guys, you can see when you speak to them why they've done so well is because a lot of them stayed super humble. He did. Super nice guy. Every day, not just with me, everybody come on set and say hello to everybody. Be super nice.
Wow.
A lot of the guys. Most can't really. I'm trying to think of who's been an arsehole, but can't really think of many people. Everybody's been super nice and given.
So, if you don't mind me asking, when you do stand-in work, like what does that entail?
Not too much. You're just setting up the lights, maybe walking through the scene. They'll be on so like if they've got 2-3 sets going at the same times, the actor might be filming somewhere else or he's getting ready for it, might be in wardrobe, so they need to set the shot up. So then you're just setting up the lights and then setting up the camera so it's ready so they can save time. Which was great because then, funny enough, that's how I met Richie Moore, the director of Who's Watching Oliver. We've known each other forever. But I know him back from when I was doing stand-in, and we're going back 10 years ago now. He was teaching me like the camera lens and different tricks back in the day. So yeah, it all comes around. I'll tell you a funny story, but actually, funny story that I've never repeated on air, I think, about stand-in days. I got shouted at by Harvey Weinstein on Shanghai. And that was a movie called Shanghai. That was John Cusack film. Yeah.
Oh, John Cusack is another one that I really like.
Yeah, and Harvey Weinstein was on that one, and he shouted at me. Yeah, but it's funny because he shouted at me in wasn't really it actually had quite a sweet meaning why he shouted at me because he came in and before that I'd done the stand-in on a film called Formosa Betrayed with Adam Kane. Fuck, I forgot his name, Jesus. But he was on Boondock Saints. So
I love Boondock Saints. That's a great movie.
Yeah, so I'd heard loads of stuff about Harvey Weinstein. In the next film I'm on, he comes on because it was like his film, and as soon as he's on, and he's this massive guy, scar, blah blah blah. But I'm stood next to the director, John Cusack, and some other people, and he's coming in and he's shaking hands, and then he asked me who I was, and without thinking, back in the day, I went, "Oh, I'm no one. I'm just a stand-in." And then, yeah, he started to shout at me and goes, just like pointing out how many people wanted the job, which is kind of sweet. And it was more about me putting myself down. But yeah, funny story.
I kind of expected that he would be the dickhead, the asshole that you couldn't think of before. But I guess that's.
Yeah, like he was.
Abrasive.
Yeah, he was more of the caricature of what I'd seen in films of a big Hollywood guy, what you'd imagine him to be. Do you know what I mean?
There's probably a lot of people in Hollywood who have used him as a model for that character in films.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the whole Entourage thing, eh? In that,
yeah,
when they're doing him, it's just, yeah, it's what you imagine. It's like you grow up, and to me, it was like, then I wasn't acting, I was just doing stand-in and trying to learn, so it was cool as fuck. I'm seeing people walk around who I've read about or seen, and it's like, oh, this guy is like Mr. Miramax or whatever. So yeah, no, it's what it is. But it was cool. Learned a lot. It was, after from school, I couldn't afford to go and do drama school. I went back and did lessons over the years, but yeah, just getting on sets, doing the stand-in. That was how I first started to learn about film, and that was my education, the original one. So everybody was cool, man. Yeah,
that's the best way to learn, though. To just do.
No, definitely. And then also, like the other thing about it, because like that's why I came to Thailand. I came to Thailand on holiday, and then just traveling alone. And then I found out they made films here. So I got friends with people who are in the film industry and started getting on the films over here. But I think also because I'm that Western guy in Thailand and the crews are coming and I can show them around or show them in the bars. So I think that helped, certainly helped on set back in the day when I was doing the stand-in jobs, you know.
Mm-hmm. So did you shoot Who's Watching Oliver in Thailand, or was that somewhere else?
No, we shot that here. Yeah,
we shot
that here. And then it's Richie Moore's directorial debut. But he's been a cinematographer, cameraman for forever on a lot of big films like Hangover, Mission Impossible, Marco Polo, the TV. Like I think he'd done every day of that. Do you remember the old film Fallen with Denzel Washington?
Yep.
Yeah, so he's been around for a long time, but this is his first time directing. And then Raymond Huber produced, and originally I worked with him on a film called Cam to Cam, which was a horror film where I played another killer. Yeah.
So who came up with the idea for Oliver?
It was the three of us. Yeah, we was originally I wanted to do a serial killer film, but I never anticipated we was going to go in the direction of how Oliver is. In my head, he was going to be a lot cooler, like like Henry portrait of a serial killer type of style. And then the three of us sat down, we wrote it. Raymond had the idea of doing more like George McFly, that type of look. And then it started to go on to that with shades of whether it's autism or those shades come in, and so we really discussed about that. And then but it just started to build and build and build once we had a character. The three of us wrote it together, but then it's funny because when I watch the film I can see Richie's, mine, Raymond's influence. Like Mama was influenced more than anyone by Raymond, and so a lot of that was him. And then so it's all got different parts of us in the writing of it.
It feels like a very full character. It feels like the different perspectives made a very enriched story, because there are parts of it that feel, of course, like Norman Bates, but then there's so much more to it. The depth of his story when he goes about talking about his father and how the mother rescued him from his father, and I wanted to mention the artwork used in that. I really liked.
That was Topaz Lacron. She did the art.
I looked up her Instagram. She doesn't have a lot on there, unfortunately, but I was looking to see more of her artwork. But it and then the story as well with Sophia and her background, and there's so much there that could have been explored. It didn't need to be for this movie, but again, it adds something to it that you weren't seeing, and just their relationship in general. So you're not on camera right now, and I feel both cheated and kind of thankful, because one.
Now I'm gonna wait. Bear with me. I'm gonna put on the top, and I'm gonna come on camera. Bear with me, too.
Shirts are optional here. Just throwing that out there. I was before you got here. Russell and I were talking, and because he asked me what I thought of the movie, and I don't want to spoil anything because it's not actually out yet, and I highly recommend everyone go see this movie when it does come out. But I was explaining to him like the mama character like was fucking creepy, but I thought the acting was a little wonky. And then I said, but in the same sentence, like I assume she was just in a room by herself filming these videos, and then you're just playing a video on a computer. She really didn't have anyone to like talk to, so it made sense. And then he told me that this is the first time she ever acted.
Right, I'm not sure how the light's going to be. How do I? So I've never used Hangouts. Okay, there's the camera button up there.
The camera button.
Tell me if you can see.
Yep.
Yeah. Big reveal.
Yeah.
All right. So here's what I was gonna say. One, in the movie, you reminded me a lot of Tim Roth. Going back to Miramax.
I love Tim Roth.
It was confusing at first because I'm like, this is Tim Roth playing this, right? Because it was just so spot on to characters that he's played, not necessarily him generally, but like it just felt very akin to that. And then there was the other part where I was thinking during parts of the film, which I enjoyed very much, how uncomfortable I was going to be looking you in the eye after some of the scenes in this movie.
It was a heavy. Do you know what? And I said this a few times now in interviews and that. It wasn't enjoyable, that film, to make. Not at all. It was for all of us. It's the deepest, darkest film I've ever been on. It wasn't a happy process. It actually fucked me up after. For a good few months, it took my brain, had to get off because we was watching, me and Richie, we watched like 200 serial killer documentaries, and I was watching non-stop documentaries about mental health and all that. Not going into that too much, but it was hard to shake that one off, and it wasn't a fun set. It was funny because we shot a lot of the dark stuff first, and then when Sarah Malakal Lane, it was fuck. We needed those day shots. I needed them more than ever, and it's funny because when you're watching it, I don't know if you can feel, but it's like two separate worlds completely.
No, it absolutely is.
But it was like that shooting, and it wasn't like most film sets you're on, you're having a laugh, you're not. This wasn't like that. It was fucking horrible. It was a real dark, like, and Ray and Richie, they both say the same. It was something about it wasn't. Yeah, it was a real fucked up. It was a fucked up film to shoot, and it was a hard one to go into, and it wasn't enjoyable. But I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it after. But yeah.
Matt and I have done this show. Like we said at the beginning, this is our 115th episode, so we've watched a lot of different stuff. And some of the things that's been brought to us, especially by other people, is not the kind of horror movies that I choose to watch on my own because they're very hard watch. They're incredibly uncomfortable. There was one movie brought to us by a friend called Megan is Missing.
That was the first one I thought of when I started watching.
Yeah, there are scenes in this that are akin to scenes in that, which is just so difficult to stomach seeing it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, well done, well portrayed. But what makes this movie stand out from that is that because of those scenes with Sarah as Sophia, I felt like in those scenes, it was very much just a very well done love story film.
Yeah.
Like watching the Perks of Being a Wallflower or something. It was just so romantic and beautiful, and you felt this empathy for Oliver and this empathy for Sophia, and you loved this story with them. And then you'd see the breakdown of when he would have to leave her and go back to this other horrifying life that he didn't even want to be a part of. And that makes the film stand out so much higher to me than if it had just been one or the other.
Well, it's even like, that's the whole thing, like, with that opening, the rape scene, it's fucking horrible. Yes. We understand that, and it was a big question, do we or don't we? But, like, we found it's important, one, for the story, and two, to understand, but it's also, see, this is the whole, what you've got to understand is, like, I played Oliver as a victim, and he's very much a victim in that scene, even though he's doing terrible things, absolutely horrific things. But without being able to see that, then you don't understand the rest of the story. And in those scenes when with Sophie, you don't understand it all if you're not seeing the bad stuff. And that's like, and we know we're going to get flack from that. We know down the line there's going to come shit from some of the scenes in that film. We understand that. But we found it was important to tell the story how it should. We decided at the very beginning, we said, me, Richie, and Raymond, we said, look, if we're going to do this, we're going to go all in, fuck it, because we're going to tell this story. And yeah, there's a lot of scenes which we were thinking, fuck, are we going too far? But we felt like all of it makes sense to tell the story, you know?
Well, you didn't treat the rape scenes or the violent scenes as being sexy and as being titillating. You treated them as violent and horrifying, which is what they should feel like. If you're trying to make something that feels real to life, then that's exactly how it should be portrayed. And it's not that it's not graphic. It absolutely is. And it should make you uncomfortable because that's what the story is supposed to be about. But I didn't feel like it was something that was sensationalized. I felt like it was true to who the characters were and what the story was about. And again, I felt empathy for Oliver even during those moments. Because that's what you're supposed to feel. I think you guys brought it across 100% correctly.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And yeah, just the worst scenes ever to film. Oh, yeah, horrible day's work, but needed to be in there for that story. So yeah.
And if you're not pissing someone off, you're not doing something right.
Well, yeah, no, that's it. And it's, you know, that's the whole thing. Me, Richie, and Ray, we're film fans. I'm a film fan, and it was. I know shit. What pisses me off when I watch a film is when you. I don't know. You know, I grew up on horrors, thrillers, and yeah, we just wanted to commit to this one, and hopefully we did it justice, and hopefully people dig it. But
well, there's so many movies. You know, we live in a time where there's an overabundance of content, and everyone can get it as soon as they want it. So to stand out when you're a content creator, and Corey and I know this, and you know this, and it's like you have to do something different than what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
And when you first asked me what I thought of the movie, and I said, well, it's a very much familiar feeling story, but it has that twist. And it's like when I started watching this movie, I read the description on the screener page before, and I'm like, well, how this doesn't make any sense. Whereas a humiliating side to is him being a serial killer. And then you get into the movie and it's like, well, it makes fucking sense now. And it's finally what I would call like a fresh take on horror movies, a fresh take on a serial killer, because there's that weird twist. And then as it goes on, the twist gets a little twistier, you know, with his dad and shit. And I thought it was great.
Thank you. Really appreciate that. And you know, like that's the whole thing, is that since this film I've really discovered a lot more about the horror community, because they've helped us so much. Unbelievable, because we won 13 Best Picture awards for the film on the festival circuit.
Shit.
But
Best Picture and Best Writing, correct. Yeah.
And then some for the acting as well. But it's been word of mouth and different horror people, different groups and that, and it's just spreading. And we wouldn't have sold, like I was saying, I can't go into the details, but we sold it. We're getting a wide release in the next few months. And it's really, we owe that so much to a lot of people who did help us when we was first, and with people reviewing us and taking a shot to watch it. And people like yourself and other podcasts and fuck man, we without all these people, they've really helped us out, and it's been a massive surprise how much the horror community have got behind us so far.
Well, like I was saying,
really been nice, really been great.
I feel like the horror community appreciates honesty. Appreciates an earnestness of a creator, and you can be a creator who's like, I just want to make a bloodbath film, but if you're purely into it, you're doing it for the reasons of it's something that you love, then they want to support the person who does that. And it's not about one type of horror movie or another. We just want great content. We want people who are proud to be part of this genre, people who want to be in this group with everybody else. And it doesn't mean that you have to dedicate your entire life to it. You don't have to be the next Wes Craven or anything. But if you make something that is good and honest, and especially if it can bring something new then I feel like they're going to want to lift you up as a content creator. They're going to want to support that. And I feel like this is a movie that deserves
surprise. Massive fuck. When we was getting the first reviews through, we've been like, I think we haven't had, might have had one which had some negative things, but other than that, every review has been really, really good. But we didn't expect that. We were like, oh, just waiting. When those first reviews were coming in, we were waiting. They were like, right, how much are they going to destroy us? We're fucked. We're fucked. Yeah, it was like that. And then they started coming back positive. Been a massive, massive shock, really massive shock to all of us. We was like, wow. And then when it's funny, like, so we entered a load of festivals, and our goal was to get accepted into 4 festivals, not to win nothing. That was our goal. We just wanted to get accepted into 4 festivals just so we could have like the laurels. And we never thought we was going to win any. And that was a massive shock. Like, I remember the first time when Ray, he rang me and he goes, I forget which festival it was, but he's like, we won Best Feature. And it was just like, yeah, absolute shock for all of us. So it's been really, really been an amazing ride so far. And now, in a few months, and it's also a lot of the magazines and papers. That's been a big shock as well, because we've had the horror magazines doing pieces on us, but then we've got a lot of newspapers, a lot of normal magazines, and a lot of film magazines that are waiting now for the release date to do another piece. So we've got about 100 or 200 so far waiting to do pieces on us, and that's a massive shock. We didn't expect to get this attention at all, not at all. So it's been amazing. Yeah, I've really been really appreciative for everybody who's been supportive of us. So far.
It's on IMDb. It has a 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah. Again, and we know once it starts to come out, we know we're going to get some shit. We know that, and there's going to be people who are going to like it, and there's going to be people who are going to hate it, and
but it shouldn't be for everybody. That's exactly it. You'd rather have something that sticks with people after they see it, than they can just kind of shrug off and go, okay, well, I saw that, and move on to the next thing. And some people it's going to stick with because of the fact that it's going to offend them in some way. And some people, 100%. This is not a movie that they should see at all. If it's not the right kind of movie, don't go see this.
No, 100%. 100%. It's not for everybody. Just fuck. I hope people like it. I'm still nervous. I'm still worried. But so far, we've just been had a. Do you know? It's actually funny. I thought a lot more of the women reviewers was going to give us a lot of shit, but it hasn't happened so far. So yeah.
Well, I think that one, it doesn't seem like Oliver is ever really in power. He holds a power over his victims, but it's because of the power that's held over him.
Yeah,
and because you utilize the character of Sophia so honestly, that I think that brings something else to it. It's not just a male ego trip fantasy. I don't believe that it's that in any way, actually. And it could be. It could have been that story. And I think that story exists a lot in horror films already. And it's not to devalue that stuff's out there, but I just don't think that that's what this film is. So I don't know. I can't say for women reviewers what they're going to see and take from it, but what I saw and took from it was that it's not just like some dudes want to show TNA and violence to women and everything else. It's to me, I didn't feel like any of that was the case. It felt like we're telling a story about human emotion and violence and not being in control of your own actions and that sort of thing. And it all comes together into what I think was a very excellent film.
Thank you. No, again, it was a million times thank you for saying about that being good. But that was the hardest thing. Like for me, if Oliver had to be the big victim, or else it just doesn't work. Like and that fuck, it was hard one to go, hard one to play. That one was Yeah, really did it. It's funny, like I've never in the past I've done different films and that, but nothing's ever stuck with me for long after. But that one did, and it really I needed as soon as we finished. It was funny, me and Richie, the director, everybody. We didn't really. We a few months went by, and we all was like, right, we're going to go and do our own thing now. Yeah, just needed a breakaway, and that one fucked my head completely. I understand more than ever, and you know, you say that, and people say that, and in the past, I'm like, yeah, you're making a film, we get it, blah. But no, it was hard because you're going somewhere with your brain and you're trying to do, yeah. So it was, yeah.
Getting into the headspace of a character like that has got to be rough, you know, and you don't want to just glaze over it and not be involved in that way of thinking when you're doing it, because like you said, you do research to figure out why this guy is the way that he is and how he would act and things. But that's what brings the honesty to it. If you just let it slide and you're like, oh, I can just turn it on and off, then you're not emotionally vested into it. And then why would the audience be emotionally vested into it?
And then just when we were shooting, everybody turned up. Like I say, Sarah Malakul Lane, she was brilliant to work with. I've done another film with her before.
Where she played your mom, right?
It was mental. Absolutely mental. You know, it's like, yeah, I guess you can call it a B movie without being rude or what, but it was. Like it's from Asylum. They did Sharknado and all that. And I honestly can't remember having so much fun on a film because it was fucking mental. Like I was stood out and they're like, okay, look up there and there's a massive robot. And you're like, what? Yeah, there's a massive robot. She's turned into a robot. So look up there. I was like, it's fucking amazing. Incredible. Stood in the middle of Bangkok Street, just pointing, looking up at what's going to be a robot. It was funny. And that's where I met her. That was a film where I met Sarah on that film. And yeah.
Yeah, I actually really want to see that one. Seeing the description of the stuff of it, I want to see it so bad.
Like, I've just never, and it is what it is. It's a B movie. It's not great. It's a B movie, but I fucking enjoyed it. I like.
Well, you also get the distinction.
Put it this way.
Something that you share with Sally Field and Tom Hanks, which is they did a movie together where they were lovers, and they did another movie where Sally Fields played his mom. And I was just like, what a weird thing to have happen.
Yeah, it was like when we first met, and I was like, oh, so okay, she's my mum. Okay, we're about the same age, but okay. Yeah, it was brilliant. It was fuck, that was a fun film. Like, people should go and watch it because it's fucking nuts. It's not like it's a B movie. It is what it is, but it was fun. And fuck, man, when you're making films for a living, and they're fucking, you know, you're not taking that one. I'm not. It is what it is. It was just fun. It was like not much more to go into that one. And it was. It's never gonna. But it was a month spent playing Mordred with Sarah and other. Yeah, it was just fun. It was fun. It was silly film, but fun.
Sarah was really, really good in this.
Oh, in Oliver, she came, and it's funny because I'm thinking of the other film now where it's just you should watch that one. It's just couldn't be more opposite from each other. But yeah, no, Sarah was brilliant, and we needed her so much on those days because it was getting so dark and gloomy, and we'd spent like we'd got a load of the nighttime shots, which in the film, you know, that's a lot of the heavy stuff. So we were shooting that stuff first, and it was like everybody's brain was like fuck, and we're working at night, and it's just like. And the house where we shot that in was Richie's house. He was living there. I came back from England. I had no money. I was broke as a motherfucker. And so I was crashing in the basement of that house when we shot that film. So I just wasn't leaving. So it was basically 24 hours. We was just going, shooting, preparing for the next day, learning lines, watching documentaries in this gloomy, fucking horrible house, creepy as fuck. And then, yeah, just doing all these dark scenes. And then once Sarah come, all of a sudden we're in this theme park, really bright, it's sunny. They're kind of nice, loving scenes, and fuck, everybody needed it. It cheered up everybody. It was, yeah, it was nice. She was great. And I tell you, Kelly Woodcock as well, the first girl, English girl.
Yep.
She fucking, yeah, she done amazingly well. She's an old friend. I know her anyway. But tough scenes. Same with Cecilia Belletti, Champagne, Tiger. Oh, all those girls. Everybody came to work, and it's not. That's usually the chips don't fall so well when you're shooting. But considering the money we had and the time and all that, but everybody came and they were all great, and everybody did. And Mama, like I was saying, it's her first film, and super religious woman, super like little nice, yeah. And she was great. She just committed to it, and it was, yeah, it was. If you met her in real life, you wouldn't believe it's the same person. There's not one ounce of you could sit and speak to her and go, "You're that woman in that film saying all that bad shit," and going, "No, yeah, completely different." Just wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, that's probably why it works so well.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish you lot could see her in real life. Just to complete, she was amazing. She completely committed to it, and it was it's nuts when you put her next to who Mama is. Oh, she's like as bad as it. You've seen it, so yeah, she's as bad as it goes, right?
No, that's exactly the point. It's like Oliver is doing the physicality of this horrible act, but the way that she is talking and egging him on and everything,
and it
actually feels worse. It feels more vile.
Yeah, and it's like it's literally as bad as you can go, and it is very much over the top. And it's this little woman, and she's saying like, "I can swear or not." Yeah, like she's saying and whatever, and you're watching it, and it's like you're on a ride, and it's getting worse and worse and worse, and it's all, to me, it's almost like in a way you could compare it to like that Natural Born Killers style of, do you know what I mean, with Rodney Danger. Was it Rodney Dangerfield in that?
Yeah, Rodney Dangerfield played the dad of Juliette Lewis.
I mean, but you could also you could compare it to where it's like totally over the top, going, yeah. So it's nuts.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is you have an image in your head of Rodney Dangerfield, always cracking jokes, always being the wise ass, but the lovable sort of doof, and then you see him play this guy who's preying on his own daughter, and just how grotesque it is. Yeah, that's another thing where it's a hard watch in those scenes.
Yeah, stomach churning, like when you watch, and that's the whole thing. Like with the Mama scenes, you're listening to it, and but then that, it was a choice when we was doing it and writing it. We was like, should we tone this down? Should we? Because this is going fucking nuts. But then, if you tone it down, then you're not. It's a different story. You're not telling that story then, and that was the whole thing.
Yeah, you don't feel why Oliver is complying with her if you tone it down. You don't feel that all the awful things that he's doing is comparatively less than what she's doing to him and through him to the victims, which is the whole point of it.
Yeah. But completely just could not get. Oh, I'd love you lot to meet her. She's just such a sweet, nice woman. And it's such a, like when I watch that now, it's still mental to me that that's the same person.
Like, I'd say we should Skype her in, but no.
Did you have to convince her? Like, was there any convincing involved to get her to say the lines? Like, how did you get her, a God-fearing little old lady, to say the shit that she said in this movie?
Do you know what? What we'll do is, if you want, I'll get Richie to come on, who directed the film.
Fuck yeah.
Because he's going to be like, that wasn't me. Like we wrote it, but it was Ray and Richie. That's all them. That's all them. With Mama. Do you know what I mean? Getting her to do that.
How to bring that out of her.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. They got it somehow, but yeah. I'll let Richie explain how he got all that.
That's awesome.
But yeah, like I was shocked watching the scenes. Like, well, I was there for some of it, and then some of it I wasn't with. Obviously, they shot that separately, those parts. But yeah, complete. Yeah, she's a little sweet woman, and when you watch that film, she's anything but a little sweet woman. So yeah, it's madness, mental.
Well, that's just it too. Is we're friends with a couple of independent filmmakers, and Anthony, for one, is just the sweetest fellow you could ever talk to, Anthony Rouse. And to think about the first thing that we ever saw from him was a psychotic killer who's got a woman tied up in a room.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's like, you have to kind of understand that Anthony is not that person, but he probably relishes in being able to write that kind of thing because it's something that he doesn't experience in his regular life. And he's just like, well, if I was going to do something really vile and awful in this story, how far can I go with it? And that's just it. I express most of my vices through either talking on podcasts where I say just the most outlandish shit I can think of, or
I'm gonna go back
writing
and
stories.
To some of this stuff now.
Oh Lord, yeah. We've been banned.
But you write yourself, yeah?
Oh yeah, a little bit, but nothing in the range of what you guys are doing.
No,
but I definitely told stories that were, to me, horrific, and like, but that was the point of the story, and sometimes they're therapeutic, and sometimes it's just like I just can't get this out of my head right now.
No, definitely. Yeah, it's a weird process, especially when you write, and then when it becomes words on page to real life. Oh, yeah, it's a weird one. It's a weird one.
Yeah, the one sort of, it's not exactly a murder story, but there is death in it, that I wrote. I always wanted to do a reading of it, not necessarily to like make an audiobook, but just kind of like tell the story out loud.
That'd be good as an audio book, though, eh?
Yeah, because I want to feel what it's like to say the words and kind of evoke the character a little bit.
And do you want to try and get it made?
What's that?
Do you want to get your one made?
Oh, maybe it would work as a play, probably, because it's really it's one character. It's two characters that it's about, but it's one character mostly on screen at any point in time.
Nice.
Because the other one is speaking through a tape recorder.
Oh, great.
So yeah, I would consider that. I haven't thought about it at all realistically. I just need to keep writing more stories and see where that takes me. But
nice.
Yeah, it would be fun.
Good luck. I hope. Good luck with that. I hope to listen to it soon.
I'll definitely let you know if I ever get the motivation that far along.
Definitely. Cool, man. Well, so I was asking. Sorry.
No, I was saying, Corey, you know enough people, you could probably just ask friends to read it if you wanted.
No, I do, but it's also like most of the people I know are incredibly talented and doing their own stuff, and to try to capture them to do my thing, I like supporting other people's stuff more.
No, I know how it is.
But still, gotta put your own shit out there as well.
Yeah, and I'm trying to get a little bit more brave about that.
Nice. Good luck with that, man.
Thank you.
You were gonna say something, Russell, and then we.
No, I was saying. Well, off air, I was asking you any recommendations for horrors earlier of some hidden gems.
Ooh. I know. I'm looking at. So we keep a list of like every movie we watch. So I'm looking through it, and we've watched some real shit movies. I'll tell you that.
What's been okay? Tell me your worst film first.
There's a tie. Manos, the Hands of Fate, and shit. What was the other one? Grave of the Vampire.
I love that film.
Oh, Grave of the Vampire?
I'm joking. I'm joking.
I was just gonna say, of course you do. You're like the nicest guy I've met in a long time, and you like the movie that I say is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
I'm joking. I've not seen it.
Well, both of those movies were brought to us by our friend Dave, who was actively trying to bring us the worst possible movies.
I'm freezing up. Sorry, guys. Okay, you're back.
Yeah. In both cases, and in any of the movies that we watch, we know that just because we don't enjoy a film for whatever reason, that it's not like that film doesn't have value, or it's not someone else's favorite movie that they've ever seen. And so we try to bring across, we give scores to the films and stuff that we watch, but we try not to make anybody think that, you know, our scores have any meaning beyond, well, I like this one, or I didn't like this other one.
Have you seen Deathgasm yet?
No.
Yeah, I actually think that movie is really fucking good.
What a name, Deathgasm. That's amazing.
They're making a second one right now, which is supposed to be. There's supposed to be as much blood in the first 5 minutes of the new Deathgasm as in the entire first movie.
Wow.
Yeah, so super over the top.
I'm gonna quickly I'm going IMDb in that one.
It's about a kid, two teenage boys who unwittingly summon an ancient evil. I think it's a Swedish movie because there's a lot of black metal in it.
I thought it was Australian or New Zealand.
Oh, okay. So I think I've heard actually. Maybe it's not. Yeah, I think I've heard of this one.
New Zealand.
Actually, I think Rich Ragsdale might have been talking about this one to me. Telling me about it, but I'm not sure.
Another movie.
He's into heavy metal.
I was going to say another movie that, not necessarily one of our highest scored movies, but a movie that I really appreciated because it was the first film from some independent filmmakers who've gone on to be in bigger and bigger things. Was Dead Hooker in a Trunk by the Suska sisters.
Nice.
Because it kept surprising me with the directions that they would go in with the story. Like, it seemed like it could be very simple and you'd know, okay, we get from this to this to this to this. And then every time they would just take a sudden left as opposed to going straight. And I really loved the decisions that they made, and just in general that it was basically their first film. How much fun I had watching it.
Dead Hooker in a Trunk. I'll check that one out.
Just looking over what else we've talked about.
Well, our highest rated movie was Xanadu.
It was also our April Fool's episode.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Wormwood was good. That was a good one. Babadook. I really like Babadook.
I really like that. I liked the mum. I thought she was brilliant in that film.
She was really good. She was excellent in the part. It was a hard watch. That one that we mentioned earlier, that was brought to us, Megan is Missing. That is a tough movie to get through.
Actually, it's funny. I've heard of that one as well, but I haven't seen it. I've heard of it, but trying to think who else was talking about that recently. I'm pretty sure somebody else compared, maybe in one of the reviews or something, they compared it us being a hard watch and something. But I've heard that before. Megan is Missing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or Meredith. I think Meredith. She's been great. Meredith Bogart Brown. She's a reviewer who absolutely spread the word on Oliver. We sent her the screener, and she's been non-stop. But I think she was telling me about this Megan is Missing film.
Yeah, it's a very, very good movie. It was just it was one.
And the last one that I want to mention is Triangle.
Love Triangle.
Yeah,
right about that.
That was weird.
Loved the ending.
Yes,
which I'm not going to give away if people haven't seen it. Fucking amazing film. But again, she just smashed it. That girl. Forgot her name, but she smashed it. Great performance.
there was the scene with all the bodies and the seagulls.
Amazing.
So for anybody who hasn't watched or listened to that episode when we reviewed it, go watch Triangle, and then you can go back and listen to us talk about it with our friend Nicole. Crazy film. Like it just goes into something that I had no idea was going to happen. And yeah, you're right. The lead actress in that was
really good film. Yeah, really good film. I like The Conjurings for horrors. Part 1, I like that film a lot. Trying to think.
Yeah, I keep not watching The Conjuring just because I feel like we're going to do episodes about it.
Oh,
so you haven't watched it?
I haven't seen the Conjuring movies or any of the spin-offs at all, and my wife owns them all.
I love Part 1. Part 1 is wasn't so keen on the spin-offs, but Part 2 was okay. But Part 1, again, a woman. Well, watch it. Great, really great film. I watched that. Funny enough, I was on a film in India, and I watched that in a cinema in India. And the first, without spoiling too much, the first 5 minutes, I thought, "Oh, what's this shit?" And then I just got straight into it after that first bit, and yeah, I thought it was a brilliant film, really good film.
Have you seen Annabelle Creation yet?
No.
Annabelle, which is one of the spinoff from the Conjuring one, is shit. Annabelle Creation is fucking great.
Is it? Okay,
it's very good.
I watched half of Annabelle, but not Annabelle Creation.
Don't finish Annabelle, but watch Creation.
Okay. I tell you, good horror, Thai horror, Shutter. Have you ever? They made an American remake, which is nowhere near as good as the original. But Shutter,
I remember the remake.
Horror, yeah, watch the original Thai version. It's amazing with Ananda in it. Really great film.
I gotta make a note of this.
And then I tell you another one of my favorite films. I love it is Green Butchers, and that's it's a Danish film with Mikael Hellstrom. Do you know the guy who played in Hannibal?
The TV series Hannibal?
Yeah, and then he was in James Bond. The guy who was in Casino Royale.
Oh yeah,
I think it's did the Pusher films back in the day. But he's
Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah, Mads Mikkelsen. Watch a Danish film called Green Butchers. Just an amazing film. Love it.
I expect. Is this a horror movie?
Yeah.
A horror thriller comedy.
Black comedy featuring two butchers. Okay.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Because I looked at the cast and a guy is listed as a marijuana smoking butcher. I'm like, well, I didn't expect that to happen.
It's that whole film. You got to watch it. It's amazing. I love his work. I love. He done a film called The Hunt as well. One of the best acting pieces I've seen. A real dark story, not a horror, but it's such a dark story. It's he's in a little hometown in Denmark, and then he's accused of being a paedophile, and then right near the beginning of the film, so it's not giving it away, and then the whole film is showing is he or is he not, how the whole town is. It's just a great film, real dark but real good acting piece. Yeah.
Yeah, those definitely going on the list.
Yeah, I know. Making a list of all these movies he's talking about.
Yeah, trying to think what else I've watched lately. Or not lately, old ones as well. But
have you seen Green Room?
I think so. Wait, refresh me. Which one's that one?
It's
Ben Yelchin and Patrick Stewart.
Okay. No.
Oh, yeah. So it's about a hardcore band, and they are playing some shitty show, and they witness a murder in the green room, and then it's
nice.
Yeah, it's very good. We did it on here. I had seen it before we reviewed it on here, but it's a pretty good movie. Kind of graphic.
It's a good movie that's very graphic and a hard watch, because just in general. but the political climate in America right now made it even a little bit tougher.
Yeah. I was saying earlier that in America, Ghost House is just released on Netflix. So,
oh, good.
We need a movie to do next week, Corey. You just want to do that one?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I
got
wasn't
that out of the way.
Yeah, but then I was saying I can get Rich Ragsdale. He'd probably come on if you want him on. So I'll put you in touch. He directed it. Nice guy, real horror fan. And then James was awesome. I was saying earlier, I shot Ghost House way before Who's Watching Oliver. I'll let you be the judge, but I wasn't exactly too pleased with my performance in Ghost House. So straight after that, I went back and studied for 6 months acting because. But Scout Taylor Compton, she done the lead in the Halloween films with Rob Zombie, and then James Landry Herbert. They were amazing to work with. Really, really impressed, and I could see like a difference of. To me, I think they were a lot more. Well, they were better than I was. So it made me go and restudy, and then Oliver after. But I'll let you lot judge that.
So, what is next for you then?
I can hope some work, eh? No, not sure. Getting Oliver released in a few months. I'm speaking to a few films, but well, who knows? I've got some other scripts some which I've done myself. We'll see, man. We'll see. Hopefully something. Hopefully some work. Hopefully people like the film and hire me.
Well, if you're listening to this, then you need a smooth talking British man. We got one for you.
If you need someone who's capable of playing a Tim Roth type,
Thank you.
Which I'm not limiting you to just that because you don't.
The fuck, man! I would. Do you know what? If somebody said to me, right, go and play, like that's the one thing. Do you know? It's weird because now I played bad or a serial killer and that quite a few times. People keep saying like, "Are you worried about getting pigeonholed or what?" And I'm like, "I don't give a fuck." Not really. If I'm working, I'm going to be. Just give me some work, then I'm happy.
It's kind of a catch-22 because you get pigeonholed, but that means you constantly get work, but you may not get to explore the things as your interests. But if you are looking for creative fulfillment, or if you're looking to be able to make a sandwich and eat every day,
well, one I think you go into a casting. If you're good at doing the other roles, you're going to get it. If not, you're not. That's the way I look at it. So. Hopefully, yeah. And fuck, man. I came into acting quite late, really. After school, I did a million different jobs. I left school at 15. I got expelled. I went, did a million different.
I saw that on your Wikipedia page that you got expelled for purchasing or for selling fireworks.
Yeah, yeah. It was funny actually. I got expelled on my third day of the last school I went to. Was my third day. I got expelled a long time ago. I was 15. I went home, told my dad because I'd gone to live with my dad then, and I was like, "Yeah, they expelled me." And then he was like, "Well, what do you want to do?" So I was like, "Fuck, go and work, I guess." So after that, I did worked on the market stalls, selling this and that, bits of junk or whatever. Then I did building work, worked in a million bars, did sales, worked in cinemas, video stores, door-to-door sales. Yeah, a bit of everything for years. And then, but I always wanted to do film. Just was scared. Yeah, and then I went.
You've now acted in quite a few films, but you've also you've been a writer onto movies. Which do you feel more of a pull towards?
Acting. I love writing. But like originally, me and Jack Everett, we wrote Goodnight Gloria because I wanted to put myself in a film. I was like, fuck, nobody's gonna hire me, so I've got to write myself into one. And like, yeah, if anybody watches that film, that was the first film me and Jack, and it looks like a first film. It is what it is. But it was fun. We shot that in London years ago. Jack invested his life's savings into that film. Byron Gibson, anybody, he was in Only God Forgives. He was in that film Goodnight Gloria, helped me out. Sarah Lee, yeah. But yeah, no, I enjoy writing. But it's a long process. Like this Oliver, from when we wrote it to getting it made, and it's amazing, and it's just a lovely process, blah blah blah. But it's fucking long, and it is. And do you know, like, let me start making some money, and then I'll start writing some more stuff. But let me eat first. That's what I'm about now.
Yep.
Somebody hire me. Let me eat, and then I'll go and write something and do the long process again. But not right now.
Well, the question is I guess when more and more people get to see this movie, is what is Hollywood going to ask you to do? Are they going to ask you to write stories, or are they going to ask you to act? Because from this example, it seems like you could do both very well. But
it'd be nice to have one or the other. No, hopefully acting. I love writing, but I'm acting through and through. I'm still trying to get better. I think because I've studied, but I never did the drama school, so I'm still on catch up, and I came in late. So it's like for me, it was standing. Then I got a film, and I think every film you can see a difference. I can go, fuck, you suck there. I sucked a bit less on that one, a bit less on that one, a bit less on that one, and now I'm starting like Oliver is the first time I've ever done a performance which I can live with, and I can say, yeah, okay, I felt that, and it's where the other ones I struggle to, but it's because I'm still learning. It's still so we'll see. Hopefully, it gets better and better.
Yeah, we've been doing the show for 2 years. We haven't learned anything yet. I keep waiting for the episode where it sounds like we've gotten better.
But you know yourself, it's the same like you're doing this podcast. It's once you do something, the more you do it, the more comfortable. And it's just the fact is when like this is the whole thing. All the actors they come on, and it's like you've got to lie, you've got to play this role where it's like, yeah, everything's amazing, blah blah. It's not. It's fucking hard. Most of the time, You're not working. It's a struggle. You're hustling to get a job. You get a film. The first films you're ever doing. You don't have a choice in because you're an actor. You're going to take work. If you're not, what are you going to do? You're going to turn down to do an acting job to go and work in a job you don't want to do? Of course not. So, I'm still in that building up stage. That's what Oliver I love because we made that, and it is personal, and it's a journey what you go on, and beautiful, and you're doing what you're dreaming. But Oliver's done. It comes out. Fuck, I hope it does well, so I get work. It's honest, that's how it is. It's a hard business. So, but going back to when people say about being pigeonholed, no, fuck. I hope I get work. That's it. Yeah.
I have no problem being Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker for the rest of my life. It's like, sure. Yeah, let that be my worst problem, is that people love me so much in one role that it continuously gets me to come back for these movies over and over again.
Fuck. And that's the thing I like. Most of the roles I play tend to be like, if you look, Goodnight Gloria, I played a crazy killer. Cam to Cam, I was a serial killer. Who's Watching Oliver is a different type of serial. I like these roles. I'm better at playing sad than happy. Some people, and that's something which, funny enough, that's something which I've been working on. When I'm studying, I'm not. I didn't go back to study playing crazy so much anymore because I feel I'm getting that one down okay. But playing happy, it's a struggle. So yeah, it's we'll see. But my comfort zone is definitely not a happy guy. So, yeah.
No, that makes absolute sense. But you also have to give yourself the break to get out of that headspace sometimes.
Yeah. Oh no, definitely. No, after the last few, and it's age, and you're doing different parts of our life. You change as a human. In my 20s, I'm a complete different person than I am now. So, fuck, if one good stuff's going on in your life, I guess it's a lot easier to do happy, and when shit stuff's going on, it's a lot easier to do sad and not happy. So, yeah, it's and I'm sure that shows with people's work.
Yeah. And horror stuff is very visceral, and people connect to it easily. Because I think sometimes we feel more akin to the evils of the world than we feel to the good parts.
Yeah, definitely. And it's like I'm a horror fan. I grew up watching horrors, but fuck, I'm a cheesy film fan as well. I sit and watch Top Gun or Karate Kid any day of the week, or Stand By Me or whatever. So yeah, but what about yourself? You all about horror, or are you into the other genres as well?
Matt is a huge sci-fi fan.
Okay.
No, he's not.
So I originally, okay. The Galactic Network started, 2010. So 8 years ago. Dave, the guy who started it, and I met working at a radio station in Sheboygan, Wisconsin, where I grew up. I worked at a country radio station there.
Nice.
Which is funny because I listened to like death metal and shit. So it's very much I needed an extra part-time job, and I knew people.
Yeah.
So when I moved up to Appleton to move in with my, at the time, fiance, now wife, Dave's like, well, I want to try podcasting. So I was like his guinea pig, because I'm like, yeah, fuck, whatever. Like, I have free time. I was working part-time. And we started out doing this podcast called What If, where it was like, what if we woke up tomorrow and someone had dropped a nuclear bomb and the world was ending? Like, how would you
What would you do?
Yeah.
What would you do?
Yep. And then
what would you do?
Oh, what would I do?
You can't throw that into the conversation and then not go there.
I would shit my pants and cry in a corner.
That's Matt. He would drink.
I would just get fucking hammered. I would get so drunk I wouldn't know what my name was. I guess,
didn't they have that in Hawaii where people got a text message, right?
Yeah, someone pushed the wrong button and it said that there's a bomb coming.
I mean, I'd shit myself. I'd go absolutely nuts.
I was reading.
If I got a text message now saying, yeah, you're fucked.
Are you familiar with Reddit?
A little.
So there was a thread on Reddit of people from Hawaii, what they did when they found out, like when they got the text, and how they lived the next 30 minutes. And this one that was the one that I remember most was a guy. He said he was making breakfast for his kids. He said he just continued to make breakfast and sit down and hang out with them. Didn't say a word to him. And he was just kind of like, if this is going to happen, then he goes, I'm just going to enjoy what's happening. And there was a couple people that are like, yeah, I started jacking off.
Yeah, it's a scene in Mallrats when Bodhi's telling a story about the plane is crashing and everybody starts freaking out, and so they all just pull out their junk and start beating it and doing everything. And like all of a sudden the plane fixes itself and they stop, and it's like, well, did he come or what? God damn it! There's some things you don't talk about on television, but it was it's exactly that. Is you freak out and everything just like you spasm, you can't function, or you try to stay as normal as possible because maybe it's a mistake, or maybe you survive, or what is the point of living if you just will allow yourself to go to complete anarchy at a moment's notice? You need that regulation, especially if you got a family that you want to protect and you don't want your kids to be spending their last hour of life in total fear.
Then, going back to the bit where, like, so you said loads of people just jacked off, yeah? That'd be so a couple people. Hard. That'd be hard. If there are bombs coming, you're like, don't know about that one.
I hope it would be hard because I mean, if I couldn't jack off, that's even worse. It's like
strangling a Twizzler at that point.
Yeah.
No, I saw some statistic where it said like traffic to Pornhub in Hawaii dropped like 27% or something, and someone was like, "Well, that still means that 73% of the people were still on Pornhub."
I love it.
Yeah. So, man,
taking the short clips.
I guess I don't know what I would do if I found out that I was I would probably, assuming that I was at home with my wife and our pets, I would probably just hang out with them.
See, I always look at it in different ways of like, see, sometimes you have that thing, if it's already happened, but you've survived. And now it's like, do you just get to walk around and do cool shit, even though it's bad? But like, do you just get to go into shopping?
Did you watch Last Man on Earth at all?
No.
It was a TV show about, well, for like 6 episodes, he was the last man on Earth. And it was just like, they would just kind of walk around and he's like going into grocery stores to get food and he just kind of kicks indoors. He just drives whatever car he wants. Like, he'll just stay in whoever's house he wants. Like he's staying in like famous athlete's house because they're dead.
Like that. So if there was people who were still alive, like some girls and shit like that, it'd be you got a little bit of time of that's right, and then you'd be like, fuck, everybody's dead.
Yep. I would lose my goddamn mind if there was no one else around. As much as I don't like human interaction, which is weird given my hobbies, once in a while, I just podcasting and playing in a band.
Okay. Yeah.
things that involve interaction with other human beings.
Yeah.
But and you know, my wife will tell you is like, if I'm like, I sat home today and at one point I was like, I need to leave. I need to go outside. I went outside for like half an hour. I was good.
Nice.
Whereas I'm totally Burgess Meredith in that Twilight Zone episode where the solitude and everything probably wouldn't get to me. I'm just fine doing nothing.
No, well, I'm fine with being lazy and watching movies and all that. But if I didn't have shit to do and was alone, that'd suck.
Yeah, and that's the thing is most of the stuff I like to do is if I like to write, if I like to play music, it's all in the hope of, you know, maybe not put it out there for everybody to see, but I write stories and they're for at least a couple specific people. Yeah, I play a guitar and it's because, you know, at some point I'll work up the nerve to play it in front of my wife or something. So yeah, the idea of like not having anybody to share stuff with is the most overwhelming part.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I agree.
Weird. It's weird to think about. Like, what would you do if there was no one else around? I think it would be cool for like a week.
Would it be that? It wouldn't be though. For a whole week, I'd be fucked. I'd like a few days. Well, it depends what the food situation is and all that. Right. But
well, Twinkies will last.
And you
forever.
Can watch some films. But if they're gone forever, then it's like, Twinkies.
Yeah.
Zombieland, isn't it?
Yep. but which is a really good point, and is like, I like boxed macaroni and cheese as much as the next guy, but you have no power, and you presumably have no gas, so it's like, how do you cook it? So see, that's out of the question.
And there's nobody else to be around. Yep. Can't even talk to anybody. That'd suck. It'd suck.
And the first time I flush my toilet and the shit doesn't go away, I'm done.
No,
you just go to
the house. Game over. It's funny that whole thing when Joe Rogan does that stand-up comedy thing about how dumb we are.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows how stuff's really made? And if there was just a select, I'd be fucked. I would literally like. It's funny because when you think about that, I can look at everything in the room and I don't know how it's made. So I'm screwed. And then it's like, honestly, if you went and put me to go and start a fire, not happening. I'd be cold. Wouldn't happen. I'd give it a try.
Like, take, for instance, the situation in which we are all currently in right now. We are in multiple countries, 3 very different time zones, yet when you talk, I hear it almost instantly. And it's like, I fucking work on computers and I don't know how this shit works.
Right.
And it's like, that's science.
No idea.
That is fucking science right there.
No idea. Even
That's
the
like,
base. Do you know? Even if you go back to inventions which were probably made in the 60s or 50s, I'm fucked. I'm like, no,
yeah.
don't know.
What's
What?
like
How's that like
magnets?
working? Don't know.
How the fuck do magnets work?
Right?
You
Well,
charge the metal.
ICP reference there. If anyone's paying
I
attention.
love what I love is there's people watching this now going, "Fuck, you lot are dumb as fuck." What do you mean you don't know how magnets work?
Nah, yeah, I know how magnets work.
But we don't.
It's science, but
No, yeah, I do too. Science stuff, innit?
But that I've worked IT, and so does Matt. But so many people come up to me, engineers, you know, and when I worked in people's homes fixing their computers and stuff like that, they'd always say, I feel so dumb because I don't know computers. And I'm like, man, if you sat there and measured out what you know compared to what I know, you would probably beat me every time. It's I know about these specific things.
And that's a good point. I was talking to I was texting my tattoo artist earlier, and he was asking me about like a fire stick and doing some stuff, and he's like, "Man, I wish I lived closer. I could abuse you more." And I was like, "Man, I only know like that stuff. Like you know stuff I don't. Like he makes handbags from scratch, and he owns a fucking clothing company, and he tattoos. You know, and it's like, dude, our skill sets are different.
And that's why society works.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of being part of a humanity, is that we can all learn the different things that we want to, or at least that we can excel at, and look to each other to fill in the blanks for ourselves.
No, definitely. Yeah. There's a lot of things I don't know, man. A lot of things. It's funny, even the problem is there's a lot of stuff which I should know, which is really basic. And then earlier on, what was it? We was talking about the difference with off air of like you start to go about the temperature there, and it was like Fahrenheit, Celsius, and all that.
I had to Google it.
Yeah. Didn't know. I'm like, fuck knows.
But
just pretend.
We also live in a time where you don't need to know shit because you can just fucking look it up.
Google, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's like
what I like. How easy it is to go places now. Google Maps is just makes everything easy. Don't even need to think. My brain, I'm like, I'm going there.
I remember the first time I toured in a van, we had a binder full of printed out MapQuest directions on how to get from show to show.
Yeah.
But that was MapQuest. When I traveled from Michigan to move out to California, I had to get a triptych from AAA to show me the way. And God forbid if I veered off in any way from that fucking thing, I was screwed.
So when I was younger, my dad lived over in France for a bit. So if I went with him, I'd have the map book and I'd be like the navigator at the side. And I used to fucking hate it. I used to dread it. And I remember one time I pretty much instantly knew, and it was like 1 a.m, instantly knew that I'd sent us the wrong way. And the longer I left it, the further we was going. I was about 12 or 11. Literally for half an hour I'm sat there, but it's building inside. I know I'm fucked. I'm like, oh my god, he's gonna go mad. And then as he's going, and he keeps saying, "Are we going the right way?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Oh.
Yeah. Just going further and further, further. And then eventually he stopped and he goes, "Give me the map book." And give me the map book. I'm like, and he's, "Give me the map book, blah, blah, blah." And he went nuts. Absolutely nuts. And then it was still like a 5-6 hour journey. The whole journey it was just shouting. It was amazing. Hated it. Hated ever navigating, doing any of that map stuff. That's I have deep fears about that, and I'm so bad with directions as well. Still, I am.
I grew up on the lake, so I always knew which way was east, and I moved away from the lake, and it's like I don't know which direction is east now.
Yeah,
I don't fucking know anything.
Do you know? I would surprise people how easy I can get lost, and my brain, even when people tell me directions, I'll be like, and I do this stupid thing where I'm like, "Tell me again, I didn't get it," but I won't say it. I'd just be like, "Yeah, cool, man." Walk down. Fuck knows where I'm going.
Yeah, I do. If someone asks me something and I'm not quite sure an answer or what they said, I'll do like this nervous laugh.
Yeah. Yeah. I do the same. Without a laugh, I just oversell it. I'll be like, 100% know what you're talking about. Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah, I don't really love driving, and I spent the first 10 years in California not really knowing where anything was other than the small area of my get to work, get home, grocery stores, that sort of thing. And then I got a job through the place I'd already been working at, where it was basically you go to people's homes. You drive all over the Bay Area, sometimes South Bay, sometimes East Bay. And, you know, I had a GPS in the car, but it changed everything. Like my entire day was driving from place to place, figuring out where all these things went, figuring out the traffic situation of, okay, you're gonna spend 3 hours waiting in this part. And it really was this kind of eye-opening thing of like these two things that I'm equally bad at is now my entire existence. And I just have to kind of get good at it.
But now it's just done for us. Now on the phone, you type it in, you're there. It's amazing. And that's the thing, even with taxi drivers over here. Say again?
I was going to say, you find that you cheat. Do you ever get mad at your GPS because it's telling you the way to go and you know it's 100% wrong? Like, you know the better way, and the GPS is like, no, go left. And then it's got to readjust itself because, I'm sorry, Magellan, you're an idiot.
Or it readjusts too late, and then it just pisses you off. But it's handy because taxi drivers over here, you know, it's a foreign country, they try and take you the wrong way a lot of the time. So that's where it comes in handy when you can just go, no, motherfucker, turn around. Yeah. And then they shoot you. No, they don't. I'm joking.
It's like, I'm just driving you straight to your grave. You're fine.
Yeah.
We'll get there just in time for you to be
This empty field isn't where I live.
It's where they'll find you.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, I guess we got super far off topic. Is there anything else you want to talk about in your movie? And I know it's your day's just starting, but
mate, I'm going back to sleep in a minute.
I don't blame you. I'm gonna do the exact same thing when we're done here.
Yeah. Yep. No, I appreciate you guys having me on. Hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, usually we would give a score, and I want to apologize to the listeners this week. Is we're not going to score this because we don't think it would be fair to give a score in the same episode with one of the creators on it. But I am going
to
lie.
Nice. Well, give it a 10. I'm joking.
I am going to say I love this movie a lot, and we didn't have any clue what we were getting into when you contacted us. We didn't know what kind of quality this film was. What kind of acting quality you had or anything. I was completely floored with how good this movie was, how much I enjoyed it, even with it making me uncomfortable in the way that I think it's supposed to. And just how it's shot and everything, it's at a level that I did not expect. You're right, because you said that the person who directed it has done a lot of cinematography and other films, and it shows.
And he shot, he as well as directing, he done the camera, obviously, because like that's his thing. He's done camera on all the big films, so there was no way he was going to give up doing camera on his film. So yeah, that's what he done amazing with it. On the budget we had, he made it look like it's a lot more money. Couldn't speak there, but yeah,
hey, it looks fucking good in my opinion.
It really does.
Thank you. No, and I appreciate that. I really appreciate the kind words from both of you.
Yeah,
it means a lot.
And if anybody feels like we're just blowing smoke up your ass or anything, like you said, they can go and they can check out all the other reviews and stuff, and they can see the awards that you've won. Mm-hmm. I kind of feel like that should be enough to get people's interest. Hopefully, I know you can't speak to it right now. Hopefully, this comes out soon where people are going to be able to see it in general.
Yeah, it's going to be April, end of April, early May for sure. I can't say who the distributor, the company is, but we're super. It's basically we shot way above our weight, and we're super happy. We got an amazing. Yeah, we never thought we was going to get as wide a release as we're going to get. And I wish I could just talk about it, but I'm not allowed to.
No, we understand.
So
we'll just have you back on when it's
when
you're able to talk about it. Yeah, we'll just do this again.
And you guys have a Facebook page for the movie. So if people want to, you can look up Who's Watching Oliver on Facebook and follow that, and you'll see. I'm sure when it gets announced where you'll be able to find it.
Yeah, we put all the news on the Facebook page, and then there's going to be a lot of newer behind the scene photos, clips, blah blah blah, all going on that. And then everywhere you can see it. There's all the release dates for different countries and so on, and where to watch it.
And if you can't wait,
thank you guys.
And like Russell said, if you can't wait, you can watch, in America at least, on Netflix right now, you can watch Ghost House. Yep. Which is not something that you're as proud of, but still, give people ideas.
No, I'm super proud of that. Super proud.
Oh, good.
Do you know, like, I was proud of getting that gig. That's what it was. Rich Ragsdale, amazing. Like I said, you lot should have him on. He's an awesome director, real horror guy. And then I was working with Scout and James, amazing people. And I was super proud that I beat other people in the audition, and I got that. I just, when you're not as good as you should have been.
Right, and I misspoke. I didn't mean to imply that you weren't proud of the film itself, but you felt like you've improved a lot in your own acting since then.
Yeah, I think the other guys were just that little bit more on form. But then it was, do you know what? Like, without that film, I wouldn't have went back and restudied. So it did, like, everything leads on to something. If I hadn't have worked with those guys and go, fuck, they're better than me, I wouldn't have suddenly went. But I wouldn't have gone back and studied, and then Oliver would have been a complete different film as what it is. So yeah. So everything leads on to everything.
It's worth it to be challenged.
No, again, massive thank you for having me on, guys, and thank you for being so kind about Who's Watching Oliver. Really appreciate that. And as I said, like, joking apart or whatever, it's this little film which is gradually becoming not such a little film, and it's all because the horror community is really getting behind it. And fuck, man, so many films come out and do nothing, and go nowhere, and don't even get sold, or don't. Do you know what I mean? So we're all three of us are really, really just appreciative and like, wow, this is exceeding what we expected. So yeah,
that sounds.
And really I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah. Do you where can people find you if you want them to find you?
They're working behind us. No, I was going to make a bad joke there, but I'm not going to. I have a Facebook page. Do you know what? I've got this Facebook page that I always forget to ever give out to anybody. I'm the worst at promoting myself, like the worst in history. I've got a Twitter. Yeah, but just Russell Jeffrey Banks, and there's a Facebook page. And then, I'm always on there, able to be reached.
I will. I'll be sure to put the link to the Who's Watching Oliver Facebook, your Facebook, your Twitter, all in the show notes.
Thank you.
So when release dates and shit come out, we'll be sure to cover it. So if you're listening and you're interested,
I really appreciate that.
Yeah, we'll be sure, and then we'll have you back on. I mean, there's no reason.
Nice, man.
We can talk more about.
This is a bit fun. Do you know? I want to do that. I really want to. Joe Rogan had me sold on that ages ago.
That's your homework between now and the next time you come back. You need to go floating.
Yeah, there is one in Bangkok now. There's Sensory. There's one open not so long. It's super expensive. But yeah, I think there's.
But you make up for it with you make up for it with the cheap massages every block.
Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah, yeah, like £3 super cheap for an hour Thai massage. They're amazing, and everywhere has them here. Everywhere, awesome. It's and then it's funny. Whenever I go back to London, It's shit like that you miss because you're like, oh, everything's so expensive.
Yeah. I get homesick for Michigan because of White Castle burgers. But yes, I feel you.
You know, I've never had a White Castle burger.
If you find them in a freezer section, they taste exactly the same.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're worth it, in my opinion.
Nice.
In my opinion,
it's great because you don't need a colonic after that.
I had the opposite.
That's right.
What's opposite?
I ate Wolf. I ate Wolf Castle. I ate White Castle, and I didn't shit for a day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Which is weird for me. But
nice. I like Burger King.
We're not going to deny that.
No, I'm trying to because I know it's going to be different.
I know. I was waiting. I was like, yeah.
I'm a big fan of Whataburger, which you've probably never had, but I know. Like before we were talking, friends in Sheffield, and he ate a meatball sub at Subway in America, and said it was completely fucking different than the ones you get in London or in the UK in general, because it's meat. It's all meat here, because it's not all meat there. It's a lot of fillers.
Yeah. I love Subway though, but no, I've spent time in New York. I've got to get back to the States, just so I can eat loads. Food.
So I looked up the Bangkok Float Center, and it's
how much? What are we talking about?
So it's I don't know what your money is called there,
but Thai baht.
The Thai baht. Okay, so it's 2,100 Thai baht, which is $67 US. So it's pretty much the same. No, I'm not saying it's cheap.
I know.
It's pretty.
No. But then you put that there, yeah, and then you imagine I can go get a Thai massage for 150 baht. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Of like for an hour, it's a Thai massage, like click all your bones, all that shit for 150 baht, and that's why. And then when you compare that to the Flotation, 2,100. Oh,
yeah. So 150.
But I do want to try it.
150 Thai baht is $4.79 American.
Yeah.
I for a half an hour of massage, I pay $27, which is 845 baht.
And that's only half hour. See, for 150 baht, that's an hour.
It's not even like enjoyable. Like the lady hurts me.
I think that Flotation people should lower the price a bit though. I think for the region, for Bangkok, we need to get a bit cheaper. If they was doing it at about 1,000 baht, I'd be straight in there. I'd be like, yeah, still expensive, but I'll give it a go. 2,100.
Well, it needs some competition. It needs to have them on every corner.
Yeah,
it does. Yeah, it does. But I do want to do it. What probably happen is, because I'm tight with money, because I don't have a lot, I probably won't do it. But next time I come on, I'm going to lie and pretend I did.
Well, man, don't do that. You don't have to lie to me.
No, I probably will. It's that whole, do you know, like the whole direction things where you do the nervous laugh?
Yep.
You're asking me about it, and I'm going to go, do you know what? Look, we'll do a dress rehearsal for next time. Ask me how it was. Ask me. And I'll show you this how it's going to
go. How was floating, Russell?
The float. Oh, fuck. You reminded me of that, didn't you? You were the one. It's amazing. Do you know, since we spoke, I've been about 4 times. Just couldn't get over it. And then it was like, just changed my whole outlook on flotation devices. Been looking into building one.
You can buy a 4-pack.
Yeah. That's how that conversation would go.
You almost had me convinced.
Yeah. Or I might just try and scab a free going one. What I might do is I might just try and sneak in and do 10 minutes before I'm kicked out.
Hey man,
somebody goes to climb in one of the pods and you're already in there. Like,
yeah,
is this a twofer? I came for the silence and darkness. I didn't pay for the rape. Just
love it. You've just gotten the wrong flotation device, my friend.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah. No, I do want to try it. And it is actually something which I've looked in for years. I just, yeah. I need to take that step. Need to go part that money. Do it.
It is very expensive. So wait until Oliver comes out and you become a big famous actor man.
Yeah. I'll probably just try and eat until then, and then after.
Yeah, I think eating a real meal. Yeah, eating a real meal is a little more important than going floating.
Yeah.
All that food will make you more buoyant too, so that's helpful.
Yeah.
Don't worry, there's enough salt in there to kill a mule.
But it is, see, like, do you know what? It's just being over here. I'll give you an example. I went on a 12-hour train journey the other day from Chiang Mai to Bangkok, and that ticket was under 200 baht. And that's when you start to go with like 2,100 for an hour. But then you can buy a lot of other stuff for that money over here.
Yeah,
it's a hard one. I could, for that same money, I could get down to the beach. I wouldn't have a lot of money to do when I'm there, but I could get there. I could get there for that money. I could get to the beach, and I could have a meal and pay for a cheap room or like hut on the beach. I'm going to do neither. I'm going to sit at home and just eat loads of food, but that's what I could do.
I don't blame you. It's just insane, like what money will get you in different countries.
Different states.
It's nuts. So lately I've been really thinking that I want to go to Serbia. That's been a new place where I'm thinking I'm going to go and spend a bit of time there. One, because it's super cheap, super cheap. Also, I've got a lot of friends who are from Serbia, and it's super cheap. But no, they're really arty people, and looks cool, and it's super cheap. So I've been thinking a lot about giving Serbia a go.
I'm seeing a reoccurring theme here.
Yeah,
super cheap seems to be on your list of things to consider.
I live in Northern California. Super cheap sounds fantastic.
Yeah. Well, it's just London's so expensive. So when you're not, it's just everything's super cheap compared to London. But there's other places that win in that battle. In Thailand, Serbia, India, places like that. It helps, man. It helps.
Yeah.
Like maybe at stages of our lives. Stages of our lives that super cheap is needed. So we're there.
Yeah. Hey man, as long as you're happy and healthy, like whatever, dude, who fucking cares? Do what makes you happy.
Quality of life is important.
Hell yeah.
Pretending to kill people.
Yeah. I mean, if that's what you got to do, man.
At least it's pretend.
Yeah. That's why I want to go to Serbia. Let's cut out that pretend shit. Go somewhere where I can really get away with this. Talking about with cameras and making out anymore.
I was trying not to be filthy American who said, "Oh yeah, Serbia. I heard about their film. Does not sound like a place I want to visit."
That film is nuts, eh?
I still have yet to see it. I don't know if I want to see it.
Wow.
We have a frequent guest who wants to put that on us at some point.
Yeah.
Do you know? Actually, I tell you, that film's fucked up. That's so fucked up. But the guy who's doing the lead actor in that is amazing. Amazing actor. Forgot his name, but in some other stuff as well. Amazing. But fuck that film. Yeah, that makes Oliver look soft. It does.
That's what Mama watches when she's not tuned in talking to Oliver.
Yeah, Mama's like, right, I'm putting on Serbian movie. Yeah.
I need a palate cleanse.
I haven't seen that. I've only watched that once, and that was a hard watch, that film. It's a good film, in parts, what I remember, but it was a hard one.
Someday I'll watch it.
Yeah. Dude, you do a horror podcast. You should watch it. Jesus.
I know, but like I said, there's just so much shit to watch.
Yeah, don't watch shit. Watch stuff what everybody watches. Watch The Conjuring. That's an amazing film.
Hey, whoa. Let's calm down. I also have a wife that I need to hang out with. I can't like convince her like, hey, it's Friday night. You want to watch a Serbian film?
No, not Serbian. The Conjuring.
Yeah.
You got to go back.
No, that's what I'm saying. So,
yeah.
Oh, on here. Okay. Thought you were talking about my personal time.
I don't think the wife's gonna dig Serbian movie too much.
Actually,
fuck no.
In my case, my wife would be the one who'd make the recommendation. Let's watch a Serbian film before I would ever even consider it. My wife is the horror movie fanatic in my house. Yes.
Did you watch Oliver?
No, but I was watching it today because she had already gone to work. I was determined that she's going to watch it because
let me know what she thinks.
She'll sit through any bullshit horror movie and just have it on the background while she's drawing disgusting stuff. But in this case, it's one of those things like Triangle. After I saw Triangle, I said, I need you to see this. I need you to watch this movie. And she loved it. And I feel like she's going to get the same thing from Oliver. She's going to watch it.
Did she draw that behind you?
The painting? Yeah. That's one of her. Nice. That's old stuff. Like the stuff she's doing now is really crazy. You can go to her Instagram, which we'll talk about in a second.
Okay, yeah, pass me that in a minute.
Yeah,
and then I'll have a look.
All right, Matt, well, we're not scoring, so you can contact us by leaving us a voicemail at 805-328-3966. You can email us at pot@gncast.com, or you can leave us a message on the website. You can follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We're at Podcast of Terror and all those places, and you subscribe to us via iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or your favorite podcatcher, and leave us feedback on whichever one you would like. All subscription options and links can be found at gncast.com/subscribe, and you can join the page for the Galactic Network under Facebook as well.
Yeah. If you want to give us money, go to amazon.podcastterror.com, shop it like you normally would. We get a cut. Costs you nothing. You still get that sweet 10 pounds of shampoo within 2 days.
That's true. That's a lot of masturbation.
Don't get in your pee hole, though. That'll hurt. It burns when you get soap in your dick.
I like to get the No More Tears.
All I can think about is No More Dick Tears.
Right.
Corey, where can people find... Well, actually, as mentioned, Russell has a Facebook and a Twitter, correct?
Yeah.
Do you have an Instagram?
Yeah. Basically, if you type in my full name, Russell Jeffrey Banks, so it's SS, in Russell, and then F in Jeffrey, GEOFFREY, and then Banks. On Google, you'll find me anywhere. Any Twitter thing, you're gonna find me if you just stick my name in there.
Yeah, I'll put links to all of his social media stuff in the show notes. So if you don't want to Google him, you can just click there. Corey, where can people find you?
I'm nowhere, but my aforementioned wife, you can find her artwork at arthag.com, or you can go on Instagram and look up hag_attack, and that's where you'll see all the stuff that she's working on. She's gotten into watercolors recently, so she's gone from doing all her marker stuff to now doing paintings, and she's really excited about it. And I've liked her watercolor stuff for a while, but she's on another level right now.
I'm typing that in now.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram and on Tapped at Matt the Lifeguard. That's going to do it. So as mentioned earlier, we decided halfway through the show that next week we're going to watch Russell's movie Ghost House. And and then the week after that, I actually want to bring this up because Russell brought us his buddy Jude, who's going to be on. We're going to talk about his movie Incantation. This will happen again next week. I have a really terrible week coming up. It is the Pet Expo that my wife makes me go to once a year, and
amazing. The Pet Expo, so it's all animals, right?
Yeah, she does small animal rescuing. So we have like a bunch of rabbits and turtles and chinchillas and shit in our house. So once a year, I have to not complain and go with a bunch of women and carry heavy things for them. Yep. And it's always the day before the Super Bowl. So, I love animals. I have all of rabbits and dogs tattooed.
When's the Super Bowl?
Next Sunday.
It's this weekend, is it?
Week from today.
Who's doing the show?
The Patriots and the Eagles? Or are you talking about
the halftime show?
Oh, I don't fucking
know. The halftime show.
Justin Timberlake, I think.
That is it.
Yeah.
He's got a new album out. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I assume that we're going to see somebody's nipple.
Yeah. What was it? I like the Prince one when he was doing Purple Rain in the Rain. That was cool.
That's true. Some of them have been pretty good. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's just Justin Timberlake. They haven't announced anyone else, which is unfortunate.
Are you a big football fan?
Nope. I am actually a big soccer fan.
Oh, yeah.
Football.
Who do you like?
Yeah, Chelsea.
Uh,
I hear that a lot. I hear that a lot from people. I picked Chelsea because I always played FIFA video game, and Chelsea
FIFA.
was a 5-star team, and that's who I just kind of stuck with. And it just so happened that I now work with an Arsenal fan, and I
my brother's an Arsenal fan.
Whatever. Well, nothing nice to say, so I won't say anything. I worked with a Manchester United fan too, and he actually got me back into playing soccer as an adult. And
nice. Yeah, no, I'd say if I had to pick a team, I'd say Manchester United. But I'm not. I like watching football, and I watch most games. But I'm more into UFC and boxing. That's what I'm big into watching.
Yeah.
What about yourself? You're a UFC fan?
For a while, I actually did a UFC podcast.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Did you? Two of the guys in our band, or my band, big in UFC, and they wanted to do it. So I was like, well, I have the means to make this happen, and I enjoy seeing someone get punched in the face as much as the next guy.
Nice, man.
So I wasn't into it as much as they were.
What you got to check out is so one of my old roommates over here, Ree, and then John Nutt. They run FMD in Thailand, Full Metal Dojo. It's like the MMA over here, and it's pretty brutal. It's got like old pride rules with soccer kicks allowed to the head and that. But they have like Tommy Hayden. He fought 3 times in the UFC. He fights over here, and then you've got a few camps down. Mike Swick, he's around a lot, and then what's his name? I forgot the other guy. But anyway, yeah. Any fight fans, check out FMD. They've started to work with Fox now in Asia, but you can watch a lot of their events on there, and they're pretty fucking brutal, man.
Oh, check out.
And you get some really, really some of the Thai fighters fighting it. Like now they're kind of new to MMA, but their fucking kicks are brutal. And then, but then when you get in there Thai, get some real good. There's some good fights. So yeah, anybody's MMA fan, if they want to see what's going on in Bangkok, check out FMD, Full Metal Dojo, if you want to watch some brutal fights. And then you're seeing a lot of up and coming Western guys who are, because they've got the fight camps over here, like I think they've got American Top Team now in Bangkok or in Thailand, and then some of the other big gyms. So a lot of them are having their first fights here before they move up to like the bigger leagues of UFC and so on. And then ex-UFC coming down to fight. Yeah, so it's good fights.
So here in America, we're about to get the return of the XFL.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Which, I don't know if you're familiar with it, was about 20 years ago or so.
No.
Vince McMahon, who runs the World Wrestling Federation, which is now WWE, tried to start his own football league. And it tanked. Okay. But now they're ready to bring it back.
Yeah. Nice.
XFL is the will and grace of the wrestling world.
Yeah. Wow. I heard Dana White's going to do boxing promoting this year.
And why not? I mean,
yeah.
A lot of the UFC guys want to go box because they want to prove that they can do more than
of course.
Snuggle on a mat with someone.
Did you watch Stipe versus Francis Ngannou fight?
I did not. That was last weekend, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know the result, right?
No.
No?
No, I mean, you can tell me if you want. I just... Yeah, I'm going to have to download that one too.
See, no, go and watch it. Watch the fight.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm going to have to download the fight to watch off the internet.
Yeah, do that. I'm not going to spoil. Watch it. It was good.
Yeah, we
good.
What the fuck, man? I went out to a bar to watch that Ronda Rousey fight where she got just fucking humiliated.
Amanda Nunes.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck. That was hard.
Funny story. So tomorrow, the morning for you is the WWE Royal Rumble, and there's the first. women's one, and Ronda Rousey was like picked as one of the potential winners because she's planning on making her debut in wrestling.
What, today?
Yeah, it's done now. Don't look it up because I entered a raffle for a bottle of beer and I have a number, so I want to watch it.
No, I'll probably watch it myself. I'll be honest, that's the only time I feel like a child is when I watch something like WWE, like Royal Rumble or WrestleMania. And then I don't admit to it, but fuck, I grew up on. Oh my god, I was the biggest wrestling fan growing up.
I still, I'm still fortunate enough to have friends who work at the radio station. So like when wrestling comes around, I get free tickets all the time. So
amazing,
fuck yeah, I go.
Amazing.
And one of our guests is he's friends with pro wrestlers now, which is insane to think about.
Nice.
Yeah.
Who's your all-time favorite?
Ooh, that's a tough one, man. I mean, Stone Cold Steve Austin obviously is up there.
Yeah.
He's the most memorable. I was a really big DX fan when I was a kid, but that's like that's more than one guy.
Yeah, I was before that. I'm before, so I'm back in like the Hulk Hogan, Macho Man. That's when I was really. And I watched WWF once, like in Birmingham.
Mm-hmm.
Watched Mr. Perfect by Lex Luger. I can't remember some of the other guys were there, but yeah, that was amazing.
They started like a UK faction of the WWE.
Did they?
Yeah, it's fairly recent, but now like so there was a guy who wrestled in the WWE who lives, I don't know, 20 miles south of me. So he started like an independent thing, and they have shows all the time.
Nice.
My wife and I go, but they do this thing once a year, and they always bring in old wrestlers. So like last year I met Bret Hart, and I got like a picture with him. And
oh, nice.
This year is
amazing.
Ted DiBiase's going to be there. Sunny, which is awesome because I jerked off to her a lot. Yep.
Yeah.
Scott Steiner is going to be
there.
How
much did you jerk off to Ted DiBiase? I just need to know.
I just wanted to come on the $1 million belt.
Right. That's
all there is to it.
But you know, Virgil was going to stand right in the way of that.
Yeah. He's going to swat it.
Protect it. Yeah.
But yeah, it was a couple years ago. Like now WWE has a network similar to like UFC's Fight Pass. So it's like $10 a month. You can watch every pay-per-view ever in the history of the existence. Hollywood over there.
Sorry.
No, you're good, man.
Daylight.
So it's like, yeah, $10 a month. Like, why the fuck not watch wrestling again? And it's so nostalgic, and man, the people watching when you go to that shit live is just amazing.
Is that?
Oh yeah.
So I'm just turning off the phone.
No. I mean, we should probably let you go anyways. You want to go back to sleep? I want to go to sleep.
Actually, no. Now it's 11 o'clock, so no more sleep. Got to get up and do some work.
Attack the day. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Russell, thank you again.
Right,
like I said, we'll have you.
No,
we'll have you back.
Absolute pleasure.
Yeah, we'll have you back in a couple months once we know more about Oliver's release, and hopefully.
Brilliant. Thank you.
And just in general, you don't have to wait for Oliver to come out or anything. You're invited back to hang out and watch and review a regular film with us anytime.
I'll watch your podcast as well now. And then, like I said, if you're doing Ghost House next week, if you want, hit up Rich Ragsdale, get him to message you. He directed that. And then if you want him on, I'm sure he'll be willing and up for it.
We would be up for it.
Yeah.
He's a cool guy, man. Nice guy, cool guy. So I'll pass him on. Then it depends if James is also free, but you can speak to those two yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be awesome.
Cool, man.
Yeah,
cool.
Thanks again. That's going to do it for another episode of the podcast tour. Sorry, man. I just talked all the fucking way over you.
Sorry, and I did you.
It's fine. Now awkward silence because neither of us wants to. And there it is again.
I know, right?
Really bad at this.
It's kind of a will they, won't they movie.
Yep. All right. That's going to do it for another episode of the podcast here. Russell, thank you again. It was an absolute pleasure. And we will talk to you guys next week.
Stay scary, everybody.